most of the miles, it's 70-some thousand miles, 70,000. Most of the miles, they, for whatever reason, and I don't really understand, a lot of the larger cities run EMS calls with the ladder truck. And the most expensive piece of equipment they have. And I guess it's more for funding or whatever to keep the calls generated or whatever. Because everybody struggles no matter what with something like that. It's expensive. They're fortunate to be able to get the maximum amount of money back and rotate their stock all the time.
So that's what we
Yeah, and it's, you know, NFPA says, you know, really maximum 30 years on an aerial. Most people are in the 15 to 25 year range of replacement. Arlington's in the 10-year range, which is pretty huge if you think about it, especially when you're buying two. But Blair's, they replaced it. It's a what, 2000 and?
That might be 2012.
Yeah, I think it's a 2012, so they alternate that cycle with those two. But they haven't, they've had theirs, I guess, 3 or 4 years now. But anyhow, basically this one has a lot of safety features. It has one thing that, well, many things that we don't have on our current unit, but one thing, as far as the chassis goes, is what they call TAC 4, which is made by Oshkosh, which is a heavy duty front end. Oshkosh actually owns Pierce, so that's about a $20,000 option if you ordered one with that on there. This kind of fits the ticket. Obviously, it's a whole lot better than the town or whoever trying to come up with 2.2 million. This, as far as a quality unit, the price is there, the timing, the age. I think basically, so if we do, you know, basically ours is, we've had almost, it's a 93, so it's 32 years old.
With over 100,000 miles currently.
Yeah, so basically, if we can figure out, and I realize still not making light of the $649,000 price tag, if we can somehow or another get the bulk of some of our business partners to help us out and get through this initial purchase. When the county funds come in at 2028, which is currently set at 325,000. There's talk that, you know, that just went up. There's talk that it'll probably go up again just because stuff costs so much. My idea of a capital plan for the department would be is if there's any way possible the town can get this and we can get it paid for in 3 years somehow or another. And again, that's utilizing business partners to ante up and maybe do, I mean, essentially, if we can get some partners to come on board, if we can get 4 people to come on board that will promise $25,000 a year, we could accomplish this and get this truck paid for. Then the actual funds that come available in 2028 would get to 11, the oldest engine, which is a 95, replaced. Now we're back on track of replacing the stuff. There's no magic wand, I mean, a fix on it, but I think this gives us the best shot at getting the stuff replaced. The brush truck, we've already got a plan in place to replace it. We're gonna do 95% of the work ourselves, so we're not spending big money for that. And then the tanker, which is a 2002, the plan would be to re-chassis it at some point in time. It's still a good truck and it serves its purpose, but instead of spending big money for it, we can re-chassis it. that's sort of the plan, if we could just get through this hurdle of getting the tower replaced, which is the big item, would make a huge difference, and if we can, and I know we had that meeting, when, you remember when that was, Sarah, we had that meeting, it's,
I want to say April, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. and I don't wanna, I mean, I don't wanna call out names or speak, you know, because that would be unfair to them, but somehow or another, if we could do that, it would help. The town's gonna have to go on the note, obviously, initially, but if we could continue that process, they're talking about, it would be probably 4 months, 3 to 4 months before we even have the truck. Because it's gotta go through their shop and they're that far behind, so.
What would they need to hold the truck up?
They ask for 50%, that's what they like, just to know, they know once you invest that much money, you're not gonna back out of the deal, and what they do is they would go through and they say, okay, we need this item, they put everything together, and then it goes into the line for their shop, and then they actually, once they have the opening, they jump on it. It'll go through independent aerial inspection and an independent pump test, which it has a pump. The current one we have don't have a pump. They use I emailed him today because I wanted to confirm who they use for the aerial test, and they use the same company we use for this one. So and it's a third party, so it's not them inspecting it. It's actually the same people that does ours. We went down. A couple of us went down, I guess, 2 weeks ago, and ran it for 4 hours solid. Drove it. There's a steep mountain past their place. Drove it. Come back up the hill. Put it through, pumping, aerial, working the aerial. Just went over everything. Made a list. Sent it to him. This is what's on your, does our list match your list, or what things need to be fixed or looked at? And we pretty much mirrored what they would have normally fixed. There was only one thing that was different, and that was the seats. With all that miles, the seats are wore and faded, and if you're spending this much money, I wouldn't want to open the door and show everybody and say, well, this thing looks wore, the seats wore out inside, It's not a big deal, but it's not a huge expense, so, but other than that, it has a tremendous amount of things we don't have. One person can set it up in less than a minute. And I don't know if you've seen us set ours up, but it takes longer than that, more than one person. One person can do it. The stream coming off the basket can be operated at ground level. For those of you who were around when Solomon had their issue over there, somebody literally had to climb up the end of the ladder and aim the stream, whereas you can do this with the remote on the ground. You just aim it where you want. So there's a lot of things. It's got seatbelt indicators in it. It's a lot of safety features that we don't have. And it's a lot quieter. And the money's the big thing, and I understand that. We never stopped looking. We didn't have our heart set on a new one, but if the town was going to